Hey, thanks for watching Numbskull News, and today I'm talking about Armageddon. That's right. Apparently, doomsday is coming to college football. The four horsemen of the apocalypse are upon us. We're talking about realignment. We're talking about NIL, the transfer portal, and God forbid, the college football playoff. So let me start with the first of the horsemen of this coming apocalypse, and that is realignment. Everyone's losing their shit. Oh my God, realignment's going to destroy college football. Well, if everyone would just open their history books, they would find out realignment is not a new thing. It's been happening the entire time we've had college football, 100 plus years. You remember the Southwestern Conference? I mean, everyone knows the Southeastern Conference, but there once upon a time, there was a Southwestern Conference. What happened? It got destroyed. The teams were scattered to the winds. And today's Big 12 looks a lot different than when it first started. Does anyone remember Texas A&M leaving for the SEC like 10 years ago? Or how about Nebraska to the Big 10? How about Colorado to the Pac-12? This crap has happened forever. The Pac-12 used to be the Pac-8. Do you remember the Big East? What about all those fond memories of the Big East? What happened to the Big East? Realignment. That's what happened to the Big East. I know what you're saying. Well, there's a bunch of blue bloods leaving. A bunch of blue bloods. Blah, 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 blah. A&M's a huge freaking program. And Nebraska, that was kind of a blue blood when they left the Big 12. I mean, they won national championships, huge fan base, worth tons of money, and they left to the Big 10. Realignment is not the end of the world. It's exactly how it sounds. Things get realigned. The chairs get shuffled on the deck. That doesn't mean the deck is on the Titanic, okay? It just means that shit is changing. Things have always changed in college football. Next up, let's talk about NIL, all right? And you can go ahead and throw in the transfer portal. We could kind of talk both at the same time. This is really derangement syndrome here. People losing their shit about NIL. For one, we all agree the players should be getting paid something. Name, image, and likeness? Yeah. I mean, obviously they should be making money off of those things. Now you could say, well, it's like the Wild West out there. Everyone's just throwing money in. There's A&M throwing money around. There's, Miami's throwing money around. All these people are paying all these players. Okay. Players have been getting paid under the table for a very long time. It's just now out in the open. That's the only difference. I mean, don't ask me. Ask Reggie Bush. You think all of a sudden Alabama started getting all these blue chips when Nick Saban arrived by accident? Is he that good of a motivational speaker? I don't think so. I think there was probably a little understanding between him and the friends of the program. We need players. I mean, it doesn't matter how good of a coach you are. If you got substandard players, you're not winning jack. And as far as all this crap about, oh my God, it's such an unfair advantage all these big schools have and the big conferences have. Shut up. It's the same damn advantage they've always had. There's one small little difference now. Now you have the transfer portal, right? So if a player goes to Alabama and he's a 5-star recruit, well, guess what? He's surrounded by other 5-star recruits. He's nobody special there. And he wants to be kind of special. He's like, dude, I busted my ass to be a 5-star recruit, and now I'm here, and I'm starting all over again. And I'm competing for a job with 2 other 5-star guys, and a senior, and a 4-star guy. What the hell? Well, he puts up with that for a year, hits the transfer portal, ends up in Houston. Well, guess what? He's a big freaking deal in Houston. They look at him like he's Zeus coming off of Mount Olympus. Can you pay the guy? Well, Houston can't pay everybody. I mean, Alabama can, Texas can, A&M can, Houston can't, but they can pay a couple of players. They can, not everybody on the defensive line can get 6 or 7 figure deals, but 1 or 2 players could. So they have to be a little more selective of who they give the cash to. But NIL with the transfer portal, to me, if you're like one of those mid-tier conferences, like the Big 12, is looking like it's going to be the 3rd biggest conference, or whatever's left out of the ACC, because I believe they'll survive whatever realignment happens to them whenever Clemson and Florida State bolt. They'll still have a core group of schools that are going to stick together. They'll add some teams to that, and they'll keep going as a smaller conference, but they'll keep going. Those schools will still be able to pay people. They won't have the same money as Texas or Alabama or Ohio State or Notre Dame or USC. They'll be able to get some really good players. And then at that point, it's about coaching. Because not every 5-star recruit is going to work out. Most of them don't. So you get all these schools that are just wasting a shit ton of money on players who really aren't worth it. A lot of that's going to happen. So a lot of this stuff's going to self-correct. On paper, it looks feasible to buy a championship. In reality, especially in football, not so much. You might have a kid with all the talent in the world. You give him a couple $1 million, but the kid doesn't really like to study. He thinks he's too good for all that. He thinks he's too badass. Hey, check it out, man. I just bought me a $100,000 sports car. I'm starting my own record label, and I'm just freaking kick ass, buddy. What do you think of that? What are you going to tell that kid? You just gave him $2 million. You going to take his job? It's going to be kind of tough to do that, isn't it? Even if you're Nick Saban. So let's don't, get ahead of ourselves thinking this is some huge advantage. Of course, there are advantages to being Alabama in the SEC or Ohio State in the Big Ten. But there's nothing wrong with being a good landing spot for really good players who don't want to be involved in that or want more opportunity right away to play. Places like Baylor, Oklahoma State, hell, even Oregon State or Washington State. Yeah, there's plenty of places to go. And all those teams put players in the NFL. That doesn't just happen in the SEC or the Big Ten. And then we get to the final horse of the apocalypse. And its rider is death and hell is following with it. And that is, of course, the college football playoff. Everyone's scared to death. Oh, who's going to get left out of the playoff? Who's going to get left out of the playoff? How about nobody? All right, right now you got 5 power conferences and you got a group of 5. Guess what? They're all going to end up being eligible for the college football playoff. Why? Because it makes money. It makes money to include, yes, the Sun Belt Conference. It's you're going to include them. They also have fans. They get viewership. Not at the same level as anybody else. But they do play on TV occasionally. ESPN and Fox have shit tons of deals with a lot of these little small group of 5 conferences. And guess what? They have viewers. All right. ESPN does make money on that. You don't want to kill those fan bases. Because they do buy tickets. They watch the commercials. And they buy the shit that's on there. Look at there, Johnny. He's got a shake weight. Let's go get the shake weight. We got to support Louisiana Tech with the shake weight. The playoff is going to expand. And no, they're not going to make it to where it's only the Big Ten and the SEC. That dozens and dozens of schools you're going to leave out? All those, you're talking about thousands, hundreds of thousands of fans you're going to alienate by keeping them out of the college football playoff? That makes no business sense at all. Follow the money. Well, who's going to get paid? Oh, they're going to pay the Sun Belt Conference? Yeah, you're damn right they are going to pay the Sun Belt Conference. It's not going to be a ton. I mean, the Big Ten and the SEC, alone is going to make the majority of the money from the college football playoff. Like it or not, they're going to have the most teams in it. But the Big 12 and the ACC and, if the Pac-12 was still a thing, who knows? There'll be a tier system. So, kind of mid-tier will be Big 12, ACC. They'll make a nice chunk of change off the college football playoff. And all the lesser group of 5 conferences, they'll also get a little something. And the biggest reason why that is because why does anybody support a team, right? It's hope. That's all it is. Hey, maybe this is the year. Trust me, I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. I've been saying, hey, maybe this is the year for 25 freaking years now. All right? Every year's the year. I'm like, yeah, Jerry said we got a shot. Son of a bitch. It sucks being a fan sometimes. We're all masochists out here. We come to the trough yet again to see if there's anything in our food bowl. Is there any hope that we can sludge out of this crap that maybe, possibly, Louisiana Tech, if the stars align, yada, yada, yada. I mean, it sounds nuts, but, it's hope. Hey, how about the Mean Green, UNT, University of North Texas? They got a shot. I mean, it's like .001, but they got a shot. It's like Lloyd Christmas in Dumb and Dumber. So you're saying there's a chance. That's all we need to hear is that there's a chance, right? And these people that are putting all this crap together, college football playoff, these are TV people, execs. So if the college football playoff expands to 12 or 16 teams, trust me, that's going to be several different networks that are going to carry games. And every one of them want this sucker opened up to the most teams possible. Realistically, maybe 30, 40 teams actually have a shot every year of getting in. But a 12 or 16 team college playoff, that allows Cinderella to come to the ball. And that's all we want. Now, you may be saying, well, hold on. You're just some jackass with a tiny, tiny YouTube channel. What makes you think that you're right? That they'll open it up to everybody to possibly get into the college football playoff. Well, didn't a group of 5 school just get into the freaking 4-team college football playoff last year? Cincinnati? So is football going to die? Is college football going to... No, it's not. It's stupid. I'm getting tired of all these freaking media outlets talking about it. It's like... It's a lot of clickbait shit. That's all it is. All right, Fox, ESPN, all these huge journalists are like, "Oh, NIL could kill college football." All these articles being written. Oh, it could be the SEC and the Big Ten. They're just going to do their own thing. They're going to have their own playoff and cut everybody else out. Yeah, because that's let's us get rid of half our customer fan base here. I mean, that's ridiculous. But that's the world we live in. And really, ultimately, that's why I have this channel. It's called Numbskull News. Because there's a lot of dumbasses out there in the news. And I like to shine a little light on them. Just for my own personal sanity. Because I get tired of seeing dumb shit all the time. Articles, TV, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, you name it. We're surrounded by assholes that are just telling us crap. Just to get us excited, just so we'll click on their little stupid ass article and maybe we'll throw some money their way for their good writing of horse shit. So what's my conclusion? College football's not going anywhere. As a matter of fact, it's going to get bigger. That's right. Because now you got David and Goliath and Goliath. You got the Big 12 versus 2 Titans. I mean, just from the Big 12 perspective, that's huge. That's millions of people that are going to be into that shit every year. If you're part of that fan base that is not in the Big Ten and is not in the SEC, man, now you're one of the underdogs. It's a great place to be, and it's incredibly fun for a fan. Just think about how Cincinnati fans felt last year. Oh my God, we're in the freaking playoff. They must have been going ape shit. How fun would that tailgate be, man? That'd be huge, exciting. I know they didn't win a game, but damn, they got there. That's insane. And just for stories like that, just for those kind of things, it's set up beautifully for a very, very rich future. And nothing for the Pac-12. Anyway, that's all I got on this crap. I'll be back with some other crap later. Bye.